Hey guys, in this video I'll be ranking all of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Olympia victories. As many of you know, he's won 7 titles, 6 of which were consecutive, taking a 5-year break before winning his 7th Sandow. He won the Olympia in 1970, 1971, 72, 73, 74, and 1975, and then again in 1980. His career was filled with controversy, dominance, and everything in between, and I thought that it would be fun to rank all of his wins from worst to best. I'm going to consider obvious things like his physical condition and his competitors, along with more niche aspects such as politics, among other things. In 7th place is the infamous 1980 Olympia version, with many fans and bodybuilding experts alike continually debating whether or not Arnold rightfully won this show. While he has other controversial wins, it was a combination of his physique being far below his previous showings and political controversy that led to such debate. Arnold had retired from competitive bodybuilding in 1975 to pursue other avenues, but came back after a 5-year hiatus unexpectedly. He announced his return within mere hours of the 1980 competition's start, with mixed emotions from fans. Many thought that he was going to embarrass himself, while some were just happy to see a legend compete once again. As it would turn out, Arnold did look good, but not great, having many more flaws than he did in the past. Don't get me wrong, nobody on the stage was perfect. I mean, the reigning defending champion Frank Zane suffered a severe injury, which hindered his training. Mike Mentzer had a bit of a gut while relaxed. Chris Dickerson had pointy elbows, and so on. That said, Arnold may have, had the most dominant looking physique on the stage, being extremely charismatic and having mass in all the right areas. He still exuded the confidence and aura he was known for, yet didn't have necessarily that wow factor fullness. So, being downsized and winning in a controversial manner is not a recipe for being regarded as a great look, leading to this version being the worst in my opinion. Next is Arnold's most dominant win since he only competed against himself. This would be the 1971 Olympia package, which is actually a very impressive one from a size, conditioning, and shape view. However, he had nobody to showcase his strengths against. Although this was his 2nd consecutive Olympia win, the competition was completely overshadowed by the fact that 3 out of the 4 competitors were disqualified. Sergio Oliva, Roy Callender, and Franco Columbu were all barred from competing due to their involvement in other bodybuilding federations or rival organizations. Sergio Oliva, a 3-time Olympia champion, had competed in the NABA competitions, a fierce rival to the IFBB's prestigious Olympia event. This cost him the chance to compete, practically gifting the win to a young Arnold. Now, both Columbu and Oliva were permitted to guest pose. However, this really is like a slap in the face to the competitors who worked extremely hard to diet and peak. Although all of this isn't inherently Arnold's fault, since he brought a stellar, almost underrated package, the political agenda of the IFBB during this time really obscured his actual physique and accomplishments. Whether he had a hand in these strict guidelines and enforcing the rules or not, Arnold definitely displayed a world-class physique, potentially good enough to win had the other 3 competed. In 5th place is the 1972 Olympia, a rather controversial one once again, mainly due to the competitiveness of the show. Sergio Oliva, after being disqualified the year prior, was allowed to compete, and rumors had it that he was coming in at his biggest and most conditioned ever. Apart from these 2, the lineup was extremely deep, consisting of legends like Franco Columbu, Frank Zane, Serge Nubret, and others. Although there were so many fierce competitors, the main event really came down to the Myth versus the Austrian Oak. When the 2 got up on that stage, there was no denying that Sergio was at his all-time best ever. He had such a small waist, comparable condition to Arnold, huge arms, and magnificent quads for the time. Every muscle was full and relatively ripped, yet he didn't have the best stage presence. In contrast, Arnold utilized his personality and psychological warfare to win the respect of judges and fans alike. Psychological warfare might have been too strong of an analogy, however, through meticulous posing and excellent presentation, Arnold was able to level out the playing field. Physically, Arnold wasn't bad, however, I personally believe that Sergio's physique looked so much more impressive, especially in pictures with the 2 standing side by side. That being said, videos of them posing show the intricate and almost machine-like posing of Arnold, allowing him to adequately present his physique in the best light. All in all, Arnold was in good shape, was beginning to master his posing and stage presence, and ultimately and controversially defeated the best rendition of Sergio Oliva. In fourth place is Arnold's first Mr. Olympia win, being in 1970. Now, this was not only his first win, but it was also a very significant moment in bodybuilding history, since it marked the year where Sergio Oliva was dethroned. This competition was also very highly anticipated due to the budding rivalry between the two, since Sergio had been a very dominant force with his unique mass and very aesthetic shape. Arnold was almost reminiscent of Sergio in that regard, having the illusion of potentially even more mass due to his taller frame. On stage, and despite Sergio's imposing presence, Arnold was able to showcase substantial improvements from 1969 through excellent posing as well. Now, Sergio also might have not been at his best, I'd say, not being nearly as crisp as I've seen him in other shows. Arnold had more definition in the legs, as well as a drier quality that Sergio didn't have. That being said, it was definitely a very close battle, with Arnold ultimately being crowned the winner, establishing himself as the third Mr. Olympia in history. Still, I believe that Arnold had the better physique on the stage in terms of details and presentation, leading to this physique placing higher than all the other controversies thus far. In third place, and a rather hard one to place at that, is the 1973 Olympia Arnold. Honestly, third and second place are definitely interchangeable in my opinion, since this version brought an incredible shapely physique, while the second place spot is known for other things. Focusing on the accomplishments of 1973, we see what I believe to be the second best Arnold physique ever. He was more detailed than ever, comparable to that of 1971, but had so much more size on his frame now. He had the perfect combination of size, aesthetics, and condition, and defeated a very good lineup as well. There were guys like Franco and Serge once again who were good but not nearly as impressive as the Austrian Oak. This Olympia often gets overshadowed by his more controversial showings or even his more notable wins. However, 1973 really was solid, and it was an undisputed win in my opinion. The only thing that was disputed was the prize money, with Arnold apparently yelling into the crowd and slamming the microphone when hearing the prize money was only $750 when the year prior it had been $1,000. Apart from this, sort of funny incident, there really is no debate, controversy, or talk about his 1973 win, with him unanimously being crowned the winner among fans and critics alike. In second place, and probably the most well-known version, thanks to Pumping Iron, is Arnold's 1975 Olympia win. Everybody and their mother knows about this show, even if they can't put a name on the year. Pumping Iron really gave the general public some insight into the life of a bodybuilder, with the star being none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger. You got to follow his along with other competitors' every move, watching them train, eat, and live, leading up to the Olympia. Featuring stars like Serge Nubret, Lou Ferrigno, and other tested competitors like Frank Zane, Albert Beckles, Ed Corney, and Franco Columbo, this Olympia was set to be a very competitive one. Although there may have been some political and monetary moves made to push Arnold for the win, especially to follow the agenda of Pumping Iron, there's no doubt that Arnold was the most massive, conditioned, and extremely refined, being a 5-time champion at this point. While Serge Nubret may have been more aesthetic and shapely, and the 6'5" behemoth Lou Ferrigno may have been more muscular, all of the, tools that Arnold utilized were able to help him win. He took advantage of his charisma and persona, posed to perfection, and engaged with the crowd like no other. From a physique standpoint, he wasn't at his best, far from it in my opinion. However, he still resembled a prime Arnold. He had that trademark full chest, peaked biceps, and paper-thin skin, albeit a bit undersized in the legs. While there are arguments for Lou or Serge being the one who should have won the tall category, a combination of things allowed Arnold to surpass the other two, and he went on to beat Franco for the overall win. In short, while this was not his best physique, he still presented a very solid rendition, and this, combined with his dominant personality and confidence, allowed him to win in my opinion. I may be a bit biased when it comes to placing this version on the list. However, there's no doubt that many of you, including myself, have a very special place for Pumping Iron, along with the 1975 Olympia, of course. Alright, in the number 1 spot is the undisputed best physical shape of Arnold, the 1974 Olympia version. Similar to 1975, 74 featured Lou Ferrigno and Serge Nubret in the tall class, while Franco Columbo and Frank Zane were in the short class, and this was the first time this class split was introduced. The lineup was definitely deep here, however, nobody was at the level of Arnold's mass and condition. He was striated everywhere in the upper body, probably had dugout hamstrings and defined glutes if he flexed, and was maxed out when it came to muscular development. Serge Nubret may have been more aesthetic, but he didn't have the size to defeat the much larger Arnold, or even Lou Ferrigno, who placed second in the category. Obviously, when going up against a much shorter Franco for the overall, Arnold absolutely destroyed him. He matched the level of density that Franco had while simultaneously being nearly a foot taller. Lou, who was the quote-unquote new kid on the block, showed tons of potential against Arnold, having the genetics, work ethic, and superior structure to overtake him. However, he didn't have the refined presentation or condition of the champ. There really isn't much else to be said, since this is easily the pinnacle of Arnold's physical achievement, with no other year coming close to the quad development specifically. That's definitely what set this year apart from the rest, with his quads a heavily criticized area, being well proportioned in 1974. Overall, this is undoubtedly the best Arnold ever, purely from a physique standpoint. You could argue that 75 is better due to the fame and notoriety, however, this is a bodybuilding channel that focuses on bodybuilding physiques. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this ranking list, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.